Hello, this is Archie Dunlop with Talking Astrology with Archie on Monday, February the 20th, 2012. I've got a confession to make. I am obsessed with radioactivity. Now, a few years ago, I spent a lot of money on a Geiger counter. I just wanted to know what was going on. Radiation is invisible. There's no way of knowing, how high it is. So, really, one should get a Geiger counter, even if it's an expensive thing to have. And really, it was one of my most stupid purchases ever. It really doesn't tell me anything useful. Only once have I discovered anything seriously radioactive. So here it is. This is my Geiger counter. You can hear it there. Don't know if you can see the reading. It's got we're currently on 42 counts per minute, 36 counts per minute. You can hear it click away. Now, the reason it's 36 counts per minute, now 34 counts per minute, it's because there's natural uranium and stuff in the walls from the ground. There might be radon gas that comes up from the ground. It's being picked up. So at 32 counts per minute, that's quite normal. In fact, the only time in my life that I picked up anything interesting was a ceramic fruit bowl. And it's been in the family for decades, and I was playing around with the Geiger counter, and suddenly the Geiger counter went crazy. Now, this fruit bowl, which had been, as a child, I remember it on the dining room table, it always had pride of place, and I looked at it, and it was going crazy. 1,000 counts per minute. Now that is 20 times background levels. In fact, there was an apple on this, ceramic apple painted sort of dark purple, and I put the Geiger counter next to it, and it actually went up to 5,000 counts per minute, which was 100 times background level. So that was pretty amazing. But there was no real cause to worry, because the radiation produced by this ceramic fruit bowl was pretty weak, and it couldn't even get through my hand, and if you took the Geiger counter away from it, it went back to normal. So why am I telling you all this? Well, in fact it was yesterday, February the 19th, would have been the birthday of Karen Silkwood. She was a nuclear worker in the early 70s, and she was working in a nuclear power plant, I think in Oklahoma, and she got badly contaminated, and she was also with plutonium, and she was involved in a trade union, and she gave evidence against her employers, and she died in a car crash, I think in November the 13th, 1974, just before her 29th birthday. And there's a real question mark about what happened. Was it an accident? She had been taking some drugs which had a sedative effect, I think. But on the other hand, there was a suggestion that she was forced off the road, and so in some respects might have been a martyr to her cause, blowing a whistle on her employers. But interestingly, she died exactly on her Saturn return. Saturn is a planet that takes 29 years to go around the sun. So when you're around 29, Saturn returns to the place it was when you were born. Now, when she was born on February the 19th, 1946, Saturn was, I think, at 18 degrees and 40 minutes Cancer. When she died, Saturn was at 18 degrees and 45 minutes Cancer. So it was only 5 minutes out. And astronomically, that is a tiny, tiny difference. So she died exactly on her solar return. And I think what this illustrates is that people who die around the age of 29, Saturn is the planet of responsibility and karma. It's perhaps a time when we've done all we can do in this life, and maybe in her case it was mission accomplished. Anyway, happy birthday, Karen Silkwood. Sorry you're not around, and rest in peace, or if you believe in reincarnation, I hope and I'm sure that you've really moved on, you've learnt your lessons in your last incarnation, you've done something useful, and now you're moving on to the next level. Now, as far as this week is concerned, the big news is a new moon. Tuesday there is a new moon at the beginning of Pisces, and this new moon is making a favourable aspect to Jupiter. Overall, I think this new moon is quite fortunate, and I think that many of us are going to have a good week, regardless of our star sign. We are going to feel that a prolonged bad patch is finally over, and we're going to start seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. Yeah, that is the light at the end of the tunnel. It's not a train coming the other way. We're going to see real possibilities, and if you've got a plan which you've been desperate to get off the ground, by midweek, perhaps Wednesday, Thursday, will be the time to start will be the time to start work on it. You know, you might not see immediate results, but when you start something at the new moon, you've got to be patient. You do things in the dark, do things that are hidden. At first, no one's going to notice, no one's going to praise you, but in a few weeks' time, you'll see a world of difference, and you'll realise that you're on the right track. So that's looking good, and as the week progresses, as you move into the weekend, the sun starts making a favourable aspect to Jupiter, and I think that's going to help all of us. So my general message is a good week, whatever your star sign. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you in a week's time.